Yeah, sorry I couldn't do the intro right today, guys. Haven't been really feeling that well, you know. But let me just get that out of the way. So, epic, epic. This is like the fourth time I've ranted about you guys on the channel. I'm pretty sure that this is the most amount of times I've ranted on one particular company than ever. And there's reasons behind it because I like to keep up on news about particular types of things, like, you know, basically updates. Basically when they put updates in games and stuff like that. I really hadn't found anything worthwhile of recording until I saw the recent update patch for Fortnite, and boy, there was a lot of people mad about it. At first, I was like, I mean, it's not that bad. I mean, they pretty much nerfed the mechs in Oblivion, into the Shadow Realm. So it's like it couldn't be as worse as the mechs when they first came out. It can't be as worse as the mechs. Well, I was wrong when I started to scroll down through the patch updates and saw that they nerfed turbo building. I was like, that's something different. To 1.15? I think it's 1.15. I'm not sure. But basically, from what I know, it's like original type speed from I don't. It's basically original building speed from season 2 to 3. And I was like, that's I don't mind it, I guess, because at least it's probably gonna be fine the next few days, and then bam, everybody on their mother on Twitter, Reddit, heck, I guess I wouldn't say any, but a few social media, like a few social media spots, started to say revert the changes, Epic, and I was like, why? It doesn't seem that bad. And even in the patch note, they say that it's because of turtling. And if you don't know what turtling is, uh, hi John Wick, how's it going, buddy? Anyway, turtling is when you basically build yourself in like this. Like you build yourself in like this, and then you just can repeatedly hit R2 or you hit whatever key on the computer you're playing with to build. So Epic, and not only that, they did it for ping wise. Right now it says my ping's really low, but I don't get it because I'm like near like 10 ping and it says it's low. So at that point I'm kind of worrisome that maybe now it's at 3. Okay, there you go. Now I keep getting these red lines. I think it's just one of those days my internet's just not. It's functioning. It's just it's having like a seizure or something. But anyway, aside of that, I was like, you guys do know there's a reason they did this, and it's because of people who have for people who with ping, who have bad ping, where people who have like near 0 to 10 ping can just shoot at through your build and hit you out basically. And I was like, that's the sole reason. Like I'm okay with that. But then people kept saying that they couldn't do 90s, and I was like, you guys do know 90s waste mats, right? And I know why people do 90s. Don't question me on this. It's so they can get high ground. That's the sole reason, so they can get high ground. In my opinion, it's a waste of mats. You have a better shot at building them 1x1 anyway, to be honest, than you know, than cranking 90s, in my opinion. So anyway, I was like, I can see why these people are saying that they should revert it, but here's the deal right now. When they reverted when they reverted the building, for some apparent reason, Everybody and their mother sucked at the game. And I'm not kidding you at this. Everybody and their mother sucked at the game, except for me. I don't get this. Because I would have thought I would suck at the game, to be honest, still. I would have probably been worse if the way I was thinking it. But for some apparent reason, I'm not worse. I'm actually like 10 times better than I was. And now to think about it, it's kind of weird in a way because... Come on, man. It's kind of weird in a way because I'm literally going against soccer skins now and bodying them. And it's like, I don't get how this is the case right here. Like, whatever Epic did, they must have did something really good. Or really bad in the community's favor. For me, I'd say it's probably good. Because I'm poning people, but at the same time, they're poning me. Now, one thing I think they did, is just they didn't put in the patch note, is I think they increased bloom. As you can see, they had to increase bloom. That has to be a thing. Because normally, you can't hit these, you can't hit shots with the AR because of bloom. They had to increase the bloom, and that's probably something that they did in turn for taking away building. Now you think about this, and it's like, well, that's not that bad. But then you gotta think of the professional league. You gotta think of the professional league and stuff. And I see most professionals do crank 90s, and they do have build, and it does save them a lot of time, and saves them their lives in the game a lot of times. But to be honest, I don't mind the changes. And that might just because I'm not considered a professional player. You could consider me a casual. I don't care what you consider me. But I do agree with the professionals to an extent. You could say, well, you're a hypocrite for, you know, saying that you agree with them, but you don't want to revert. Yeah, I can see what you're saying. I see what you're saying right now. But to be honest, I'm looking at both sides of the case. For some people, the changes could be bad. In my exception, I don't really see it as being that bad for me. Because sometimes I'll be hitting low ping sometimes. And my internet's be whacking out. Sometimes it'll be whacking out. So I see that as being a good change, but turbo building being nerfed, you know, I see how the professionals are acting towards it. Mostly, I didn't know they'd use turbo build. But to be honest, I think everybody had turbo build on, which to be honest, it's like I think I have turbo build on. But right now, a lot of professionals are saying that it's easier to just click instead of just holding it. I could see the case, you know. And most people are saying it's hard to crank 90s, which now it kind of is because of the nerf of the building itself. But it really isn't that hard. I'm still seeing people cranking 90s. If they're still cranking 90s, then that means they must have a lot of skill with cranking 90s, and they must do it a lot of times. Now, for example, if I were to... Give me a sec. I see a chest here. Now, I see why most professionals and most people are actually enraged they took away turbo building. If I was sucking at the game, to an extent, I say this. Even though they did take away... They did nerf... I keep saying take away. Even though they did nerf turbo building... Like I said, I feel like they increased the bloom on weapons, and I'm pretty sure it's different for most people that are playing. Then I could see why. I don't know why my bloom is like in general has been like up with an AR, Because usually when I'm playing with an AR, the bloom is really, really bad. This kind of reminds me back in the earlier seasons when nobody knew how to build. But not only that, but the bloom was excellent. Now, ever since the later seasons, that bloom just went away for each weapon, and all you had to do was use a shotgun, which just took away. It's like you get killed with you get knocked with a shotgun in Fortnite, and it's like the next person you go against, you get knocked again, you get knocked again. It's like, bro, why don't you use another weapon? And then I got that, you know, the bloom sucked on the actual weapon, and I was like, yeah, so that's why people are using shotguns a lot recently. But I could see why, to an extent, why people were angry. Heck, like I said, if I was a professional and I was playing Fortnite and I was in a tournament playing for money and they just did these changes, I could see why most people were mad. You know, sometimes I'll be bashing on the professionals, but sometimes you gotta look in their kind of perspective, you know. They're not just playing the game for fun, but they're playing it for trying to get, like, you know, get money, basically. Get money and trying to practice on, at least trying to win. Which, you know, I can respect that to an extent. But I don't get why every time it has to be a split between the professionals and the casuals. Because, and here's my point. A lot of professionals are saying it's because they're catering towards the casuals. Well, wait here, professionals. I'll give you a big brick wall so you can, you know, take this in. I'll even say it a little bit louder so you guys can, like, soak this in. For the last 3 or 4 seasons, they've been catering to you professionals. Oh, take out the infinity sword. Take that out. It's too overpowered. Take the planes out. Take the ballers out. Take the boom bow out. And to an extent, I do agree with the boom bow. That should have been taken out. I do agree with that. Some things I do agree with them. Some things I don't. A lot of people were just in general saying remove the mech, and I was sitting there right there saying, like, you know, they're not gonna remove it. They're not gonna remove it until end season. You have to wait until whenever the end of the season is, probably October to November. Till then, just play Team Rumble, or heck, play limited time modes. They're not in limited time modes. Or play creative, or if you really want to play playground. I mean, I could see if you actually just want to get into a solo game and try to get your first dub of the season. If that's the case, when first week came out with mechs, I literally just hopped in. I think it was the first 2 or 3. I hopped in a mech and won with a mech. Now you could say, technically you could say I'm a decent player at Fortnite. You could say I'm a decent player. And to an extent, I feel like building wise, I was a little bit better at building. Oh, yep, there we go. To an extent, I feel like when turbo build was where it was at before, and like the 0.5 range, I felt like I was a little better and I could build faster. That's the only thing that I feel that feels off to me, is that I'm not building as fast. Like, look, like if it was originally at the 5, I would have been able to do that a lot faster. And it's still like I feel bad for stealing that guy's kill, but anyway, going back to the situation, professionals calling casuals, you know, they're catering to casuals. Well, like I said, about season 5, was it season 5 or season 4 that came out for the professional league, the esport, whatever, and then No, it had to be season 6 or season 5. I forgot which season, because back then I really didn't like looking up. I didn't really look up news on Fortnite. And then season 7, you heard a lot about the Infinity Sword. Now I see to an extent if it was before it was nerfed, well, not nerfed to oblivion, that's still kind of a little overpowered. And planes, literally, you could just shoot down planes, and then the next guy would get them. To be honest, that's one thing. Now, season 8, yeah, 8. Season 8, they had the ballers and the boom bows and a lot of other stuff, which I can't remember at the moment. But boom bows were absolutely broken with the line they had, the line sight that they had. It would be a straight-on shot, and you could say, well, it's a bow. But I'm pretty sure bows, when you shoot a bow in real life, has like a little curve to it because it's picking up air. You would think since it has the explosive tip on it, probably not be. It would probably like have like a little bit of like, I wouldn't say wind. It would probably have wind reduction, but actually it wouldn't have wind reduction. It would probably have what's the word I'm looking for? It should have had like the sights like with the sniper because of the explosive tip, depending on how big this explosive tip is, which was a shotgun shell. But no, it was literally just a straight line. A straight line, and all you had to do was just aim in with it. Just like aim in. And it hit the person and just literally just put them back in the lobby. So I saw how that was really overpowered, and then oh my god, the ballers, you could literally hop in one, hit up a hot spot, and then literally just be fine of where you were going next. Like, you literally could get stacked up in a baller, use it as a shield, and then you would be fine. And that's what kind of made it overpowered. And Season 9 had the Scout Storm Sniper, and I'm surprised they didn't take it out any sooner. Because if they were to take it out any sooner, most people wouldn't be exploiting it. What I mean by exploiting is people would use it to see the next storm, and then they would probably go to the next storm and then camp it out from there. I've seen people do it, and I heard professionals used it to know where the next storm was. So, yeah, to an extent, I see why those weapons were overpowered. Also, why haven't they vaulted the drum shotgun? That don't make sense. Like, up the spawn rates for the other shotgun, like up the spawn rate for the blue combat, the green pump intact, and then up the spawn rates for the blue pump and blue tac. That's all you have to do, and then you don't really need the drum gun at that point. To be honest, the drum gun is kind of obsolete compared to the other shotguns. You could say, well, you could spam with it, but if a person has full shield and they have a combat shotgun, that drum shotgun's not going to be able to do a thing to the combat shotgun. For example, sometimes, and I didn't know this at first, but I only knew this about yesterday, you can hit consecutive headshots with the combat shotgun. I did not know about this until yesterday. And I'm thinking, well, no wonder most people have been saying to vault the combat, because you get consecutive, look, 120 headshot. You can say, well, you were up close, but you could get headshots medium range. And then most people would say, well, they nerfed it. They nerfed it to where you can't shoot very far away. Yeah, I know that, but that doesn't mean for like the medium and close range. So like, yeah. But in general, I guess my opinion on the subject, before actually no, before I go into that, but no, most of you professionals have kind of been catered to by Fortnite. And it's kind of about time that the casuals got catered to, because let me be fair and honest with you guys. It was the casuals that started Fortnite. And at one point, most of you professionals were casuals. So if you're gonna, all I'm saying is don't bash on casuals for being casuals because they started Fortnite out. They were the ones who started it out to an extent. And then y'all got your professional league, and then they catered to the professional league. They started supporting it. But then it got to a point where you guys would literally complain about anything. Near the end of season 9, there's a big the giant robot and monster fight, and there was hardly no changes to the map. Like, there's only like a few changes, but like not anything major. Because Epic knew that most of the professionals would get in a hissy fit that the map changed and oh, my landing spot's gone and all that. It's like, dude, you know there's a reason we're gamers, and it's called that we're supposed to adapt to situations. Like, I'm literally adapting. I'm adapting to the new stuff. You guys should be able to adapt to it too. But I will say this. At first I saw this like this hashtag revert turbo building, whatever it's called. I'm thinking here. I'm like, you do know if you had. I feel like these people didn't read the patch notes though. Now, could Epic done it a different way? Like, yeah, sure, they could have probably done it a different way. But I see why they're doing this. I see why they're doing this. But I've also heard some of the casual players are at the points where they don't know how to build and stuff. And I've seen most soccer skins who literally are sweats. Not even sweats anymore. They're not even sweats anymore. I think most people consider me a sweat now, which is kind of sad because actually I wouldn't consider myself a sweat because yeah, I wouldn't consider myself a sweat. I will say this: this season alone, with this change, has got me up to like 6 kills in a duos game with my friend, to the point where we were almost about to win a duos. The first time we were about to win a duos game. Let me mark this in. Me and my friend, Rep, you've seen him on the channel. Me and my friend Rep almost won a duos game, and we have never won a duos game before. And when they put these changes in, we almost won a duos game. And you could say, well, most people aren't building. No, I mean, that makes sense. But most people were building. That's the funny part, is most people were actually building. Okay, actually, since I'm done with this argument, Epic, fix this glitch. Come on, man. Most of my friends are saying that they're dying from this glitch with the search this stuff. Like, I don't get it. Why are these searchable things here but there's nothing in it? Like, y'all, I'm pretty sure you guys thought that you took that away when y'all fixed all the searchables and Dusty. But you guys, that was not the case, because it's not only in just Dusty. I've seen some over at Pleasant in the airplane hangar up on the hill. There's a toolbox up there that's searchable. There's like a ton of stuff that's searchable. It's still on the map, and you guys really do need to go and look at this stuff, because most of my friends said that they have died by that glitch so many times, it's not funny. But nah, I see why most professionals are mad at this. I can see why most casuals are mad at these reverts of the turbo changes. To be honest, if I was the game developers right now, I'd probably be catering to everyone at this point. And I know when most people say, well, you can't cater to everybody. You can't do that. It doesn't, it wouldn't make sense. It wouldn't work. Yeah, I could see that being the case, but the one thing I would do is if it was week one, I'd nerf the mechs. I'd leave them for a week. See how the community is faring with them. And then if people are in an uproar, maybe leave them for the second week, like half the second week, and then nerf them to oblivion. But I wouldn't wait like 4 to 5 weeks and then nerf them. Maybe like the first week and then nerf them. I say the second, the third week, I'd probably make it to where you know, the second week maybe like the second week and then like half of that second week, I'd nerf it on like the half part. The first nerf. No, actually the whole nerf, to be honest. And then I'd add these riffs in, right? If it this is if it was me. I'm okay with Fortnite collaborating with other games and other forms of media. I'm okay with that. So you leave this in, to be honest. You leave this rift zone, like leave the rift zones in. Except I'd probably change the filters on Tilted Town and retail because it's kind of hard to see sometimes. I don't think Epic takes into account that there's people out there that it's kind of hard for them to see, and they don't take an account for it. And if they do, it's just they probably just don't care. I don't know. And what else would I do? And also, if I was like head at Epic, I'd probably listen to the community a lot more. That's one thing I'd do. But in general, my whole opinion about this is I kind of agree with both sides. I agree with both sides. And the reason I really didn't want to voice my opinion until now is because people for some reason nowadays like to attack other people for their opinion, and I don't like when, well, I wouldn't say I don't like, to be honest. Like, I think if you have an opinion, you should voice it. But most people, like I said, nowadays like to attack other people for their opinions. And it's not, like, you know, it's like, back in my day, this is old me. This is old extraordinary right here. I sound like an old man, too. Back in my day, when you voiced an opinion, most people would just like, I was like, oh, then, you know, that sounds cool, or something like, oh, no, I don't care, dude, or something like that. Nowadays, you get attacked for voicing your opinions. So yeah, that's one reason I didn't want to voice my opinion up until now, to be honest, because I just felt like it, and to be honest, if people did, I really would not care, because I've gotten to the point of where back then people would react to me, and then at this just some point I was like, bro, why did I get so like worked up over this? It's like I'm not even getting anything off my videos anyway. Like monthly, I'm getting about like 2 cents. I mean, I could see if I was a bigger channel, but at the same time, if I've already made a profit off the video, if I was a big channel and I've already made the profit off the video, I still probably wouldn't care. Unless for some reason the guy who uploads it makes a lot more money than I did. And at that point, I'd probably see why a lot of people get mad. Or I probably still wouldn't care, to be honest. It's kind of like a mixed bag if you think about it. But yeah, like I said, in my opinion, I do agree with both ways. Like, you know, if people out there are liking the change for the update, I agree with you. And if you're mad about the change, I agree with you too. But to an extent, I do agree with you to an extent. I'm not gonna take a side on this. I'm just gonna say Epic could have made it a little bit better. But if this was the only way they could have fixed it, then like I'm not gonna bash them for it. Like if this is the only way they could have possibly fixed it is to revert it back to the original building, then I'm okay with it because, you know, most people now most people who actually do have a good ping when they build feel like the people who would build at 200 ping. Now, I feel like there's gonna be an issue pretty soon where people with 200 ping are just gonna pop up and they're just gonna be bodying people. I feel like that's gonna become an issue at one point. But I guess time will tell. Because I've noticed if you have very bad ping, the bloom gets really good. And I experienced this myself. One day, my internet was like, I guess it was having like some type of seizure or something. My internet was messing up so bad. It was lagging, but to the point where I was hitting straight headshots while I was lagging. I was like, ah, so this is how people back in the day were able to, who had bad lag, was able to play. Yeah. And still play to an extent if they have bad internet constantly. But I guess this is all I had to say. And I know mostly I've gotten criticism from my videos saying, well, you make too long videos, but I kind of used my YouTube channel as like a voice, like, you know, as like talking, like therapeutical talking, like, you know, speaking my mind, stuff like that, and telling you guys what I think. Now I know most people are saying, well, you know, Fortnite's dying, or you know, stuff like that. I could see, but to an extent, if it was dying, there wouldn't be that many people in lobbies, in the 100 people lobbies. And you could say, well, that's just Epic, probably like switching people over from other servers to other ones or something like that. But also, I kind of feel bad for that the people in those that one country that they took away microtransactions. I forgot which country it was. It wasn't really a country, it's a province, I think. And they said that transactions were like a form, or no, loot boxes were a form of gambling or something. They even got Dokkan for doing it. So I'm wondering if I'm pretty sure. Actually, no, they probably don't consider Fortnite a type of gambling unless Fortnite ever switches to loot boxes, which I don't think they'll ever do. Because yeah, I mean I do agree with that. I do agree it should have been every country, to be honest. Because I do see it as a form of gambling, the loot boxes. And I don't like how Apex is doing it now, to be honest. Because Apex, to be honest, if they just keep doing like the formula that kind of like Fortnite's been doing, they'd probably be able to get like a whole mint. And the only reason they're doing it is because EA. And EA, let's just face it, I'm gonna make a video eventually about EA, but EA is EA. And like every time I hear that opening on off the old games, EA Sports, I just picture one of the CEOs coming out, CFO, whatever they call them. It'll just come out, we want your money, and then that part. It's like that's what I just imagine directly. That's all I hear when I boot up an old EA game. I hear, I want your money nowadays. That's what they should just stop hiding it and just put it in their like openings, like EA, we just want your money. Just like they need to stop hiding it. To an extent, Rockstar's kind of been doing it too, but I don't blame Rockstar. I don't blame Rockstar. I kind of blame their parent company, Take-Two, for it. Because Take-Two, Let's be honest. Take-Two is not that greedy, but when it comes to like Rockstar, I think they were the ones who put in the shark card stuff. I don't know if they put it in general, but I know they have to do something behind it. And then not only that, but the casinos where you actually have to use in-game money to switch it to like the chips, or is it real money and then you switch it to the chips? I don't know because I didn't play the update. I kind of quit GTA after for a long time, and then I heard the update. I was like, I'm not gonna play it, to be honest, because you know, once you get to like a certain amount of money, like $1 million, is like you're still broke to a point in GTA. Like to an extent, you are. I'm not gonna say like you're completely broke. Like, I mean, you can like get like a few upgrades for a few cars, and then that's about it. And now, like most people nowadays, they either got their account, I wouldn't say hacked. I wouldn't say hacked. I'd probably say like I wouldn't even say modded to an extent. I'd say around the lines of basically they just got a lot of money off some people. They just got a lot of money off some, like they just got like a lot of in-game money off people who hacked or modded their account off GTA. And then you got the people who just like are the giant whales who just buy and buy when new stuff comes out. And at that point I'm like, why would you buy stuff off the game? Like to a point. And you could say that, well, you buy stuff off Fortnite. But here's the point, Fortnite's free. And not only that, but it's pretty easy to earn V-Bucks if you got the Founders Pack. That's all I'm saying. It's pretty easy. And if you get the Battle Pass this season, they're literally handing you out a ton of V-Bucks to either get the next Battle Pass or the next skin that you want, or pickaxe or whatever. But like to a point, yeah, I see why you're saying that they should make loot boxes everywhere kind of illegal to an extent, and a form of gambling. I wouldn't say illegal, I say they should put it to like like if they were to do it over here, they'd say, oh, you got to be a certain age to get loot boxes or something like that, like they do with casinos. Like you got to be like 20 something to go into a casino. 21 or 22. I forgot the age, to be honest. But they'd probably do something similar over here. But you'd probably have to put in your actual age. They actually know, because people can fake it. They can fake their age and be like, oh yeah, I'm this age. So then maybe they should just I wouldn't say outlaw it, but nah, they should outlaw it, to be honest. Oh, I'm liking the old Western skin with the psycho the psycho skin. But as I was gonna say earlier, I'm looking at the new change and the new update for Fortnite, kind of both ways. Yeah, sure, I do see turbo building as a nerf, as like something bad, but I don't get why their excuse is because I can't crank 90s. Because I'm over here, when I crank 90s, I'm losing a lot of mats at a second, like at seconds. I'm like, do you have to grind up a certain amount of mats to like crank 90s? Like, I'm over here like, come on, man. You don't need 90s nowadays. But then it's not good that professionals are going out and calling out the casuals, because the casuals, to an extent, started Fortnite, or at least started what I wouldn't say started the game, but they made, I wouldn't say made either. They kind of brought Fortnite up to where it was or is to an extent. I say the professionals did too, but the professionals were not really around back in season 1, 2, and 3, and to an extent 4. And if they were, they weren't, the professional side of Fortnite wasn't up then. But nah, I might get in on that loot box rant later. Actually, nah, I might talk about loot boxes later on eventually on the series that I'm doing. But yeah, I guess that's all I got to say about it, to be honest. Yeah, that's basically all I got to say about the update. And yeah, and if you really wanna, if you're really that, this is for anybody watching the video later. Dude in the stream, you're okay about this. If you're still in there. If you're watching the video right now, and you want to have a nice little chat with me, you can hit me up on my Discord, and we can, chat things out. And, but like I said, I see it both ways. So if you have a problem, like I said, hit me up on Discord. I'm always up for some answers. Or actually, I'm always up for some answers. Or you can hit me up in the YouTube comments, because I've said this multiple times before. My channel was small at the time, at this point of time, so I can answer about anybody on my YouTube channel who comments on the video. And if you guys want to make that a challenge for me, I don't mind it. But like I said, since my channel is small right now, you guys can literally go and literally just put a comment down there, and I see it. I'm not blind. I can literally see a comment that you guys post. But anyway, yep. I guess this will be the end of the video. If you guys enjoyed it, like the video. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe to the channel. I'm not gonna say I put out daily content, because I really don't. It's kind of like when I feel like I want to put out content, you know, because certain points I have to be interested in a topic to talk about it, guys. Like, I can't just go spew off on something that, you know, I'm not interested in. And then eventually maybe I might get into like weekly, but like right now I'm just going off how I feel. Maybe I might not change that, to be honest. But on the other hand, I don't know. Also, what else am I gonna say? Also, like I said, you can put down a comment in the comment section. I don't mind getting some criticism from you guys, and telling me what I should do a little bit better on the channel, because in general that'll help the channel out. And yeah, but for now, these types of videos that are like super long are kind of like, they're kind of like therapeutic for me, like, you know, something I could like not talk to, but you get the point. But anyway, yep, I'm gonna get out of here, guys, and play a few Team Rumble matches, maybe get some friends in and all that. And eventually, if my YouTube channel gets big, I might... I thought I was out of the storm. Eventually, if my YouTube channel gets bigger, then I might play squads with some subscribers, or Team Rumble, whatever it is. But this is only when my channel gets a little bit bigger. But with that out of the way, this is the Extraordinary Saiyan signing out. Peace.